Here is Team Dual Wielding Wolves.
Yeah, like the largest team. Wow.
Good afternoon. I'm Jeff Chilson, producer for Team Dual Wielding Wolves, part of Double Stuff Studios. Our game is Goupé. I want to introduce starter over here. This is John Alfonso Taylor, Paul Michelle, Ryan Newton, Mike Pino, Ryan Scanlon, and Christopher Lewis. And over here, my partner, Tom Lerner. Sorry about that. Dennis Norton, Matt Cook, Ray Schwellman, Lane Shapiro, and James Dean. I will hand it off to my co-producer, Tom Lerner, and he will introduce you guys to the Goupé experience.
So, how is everyone doing? So, hi everyone, I'm Tom, and I was another producer on Team Goupé, and I will be introducing you guys to our game, Goupé. So, what is our game? Our game is a 2.5D platformer. That means that you'll be moving in two-dimensional space, up, down, left, and right, but visually everything will appear to have depth. In our game, you will be playing as Goupé, a little French green blob that wears a little mustache and a little hat. And to play our game, you're going to be moving all around the level, jumping all over the place, sticking to different surfaces, and trying to avoid the deadly traps that will kill you on touch. The objective in our game is to try to get to the end of the world in the quickest time possible. So, how will you be doing it as a player? To start, you're going to be moving by using the left stick on the controller by pushing it left and right to move yourself on the ground, and you can also do it while in the air to change your position. How do you get to the air, you ask? Well, you do it by using the A button to jump. The longer you press down the A button, the higher Goupé will jump, making it easier to reach long distances. Now, while you jump, if you get close enough to a wall or a ceiling, Goupé will automatically stick to it. While you're sticking to it, you can press the A button again, and Goupé will automatically jump again in the direction you're holding. But be careful, because if you don't jump it fast enough, Goupé will just automatically let go and fall down, maybe into his death. Next, we have the option to actively unstick. By pressing one of the shoulder buttons on the controller, either the right trigger or the left trigger, you can make Goupé automatically unstick from the surface it's on. Letting go of the button will automatically make Goupé stick again to the surface, making it easier to maneuver around your environment. Then, while you're on the surface, you can also move Goupé just a little bit to adjust your position before big jumps. On a wall, you can do it by pressing up and down, and on a ceiling, left and right, Goupé will automatically move to wherever you hold the button. Lastly, for our more advanced players, we have the Y button to kill Goupé. Why would you want to kill Goupé, you ask? Well, in our game we have a lot of things that you can try and achieve and unlock, and for our advanced players, if they want to restart a level early on to try and unlock things they weren't able before, just press the Y button and Goupé will restart back where he was before. Next, I'm going to move it on to Dennis that will talk to you guys about some of the traps we have in our game.
Well, our game is pretty straightforward. You go from checkpoint A to checkpoint B, but we wanted to add a lot more to the game to make it more fun to play. So we added a bunch of different traps to the game. So one of our first traps is the acid container, and basically it's just a giant pit filled with acid, and it has little acid bubbles that come up. But if you jump inside of the pit, you're just going to dissolve, you're going to see a little acid splash come up, and it's a really cool effect that we have going on. But you have to be careful because you will restart the level if you do die. And next, we have an acid drop, and that falls from a broken acid pipe. You can see the acid pipe drop growing before it's about to fall. And every drop has its own set time for it to spawn. So when you're going throughout the levels, you have to kind of time everything so that you don't hit a drop and end up dissolving and have to repeat the section again. Next, we have timers for every section. We gave you sometimes where it's a long time that you can complete it, sometimes it's short, sometimes it's long. It's all up to the level that we have. And if you aren't able to complete the section within the allotted time, then wherever you are, you're just going to float up and kind of explode and have gifts go everywhere. And it's cool. You just have to watch it. Next, we have the basic trap, and that's your spike. That's in like almost every game. And basically, if you jump on top of that spike, you're going to explode. Gibs are going to fly. The little gibs are going to explode if they hit other spikes. And it's just going to have goo all over the place. It's really cool to look at. I hope we can actually show you that today. Next, you have the retracting spike. And basically, it's like the regular spike, but this one is inside of the level, and we wanted to give you a tell for that, so we gave it a door that opens up right before the spike raises up to tell you that you're about to die. And also, you have a light at the base of the spike that turns from green to red. Green meaning that it's safe to walk across. Yellow meaning that you need to be careful, you need to hurry up and get through this because you're about to die. And then red meaning that if you jump on top of me, you're gone. So be careful of that and look out for that. Next, you have the shooting spike. With the shooting spike, we didn't add the lights at the base of the spike, but what we did was the spike would come up out of the ground a little bit, and you just see the tip of the spike, and you would know to kind of jump out the way because you're about to die. So once they come off the ground, they're deadly. They're going to keep going until they hit another surface, so be careful of those. But with every trap, we didn't want to have everything be dangerous for you. We also wanted to have something that can help you progress through the level. So our first thing that we have is our moving platform. And with that, you can just jump on top of it and you'll just go along with it everywhere, and it'll help you collect different hats or just progress through the level. But you have to be careful because if it does collide with another moving platform or a wall or something, then you will get squished and you will die. So be careful and jump timing. Next, you have the blowing fan. The blowing fan, we have different set rates for the power for that, and it also turns off and on. So with that, it can either deter you, it can throw you somewhere really far. Sometimes you can just kind of hop along really lightly, and it's there to kind of throw up the player a little bit and also to help you get through the level quickly. But you have to be careful because we did set up the levels in a way where we do have dangerous traps waiting for you. So you have to be kind of quick in thinking about what you're going to do and how you're going to react to what's waiting for you. And then lastly, you have the non-stick surface. And with this, you basically jump on top of it and you're going to slide and slide in whichever different direction that you go. And you lose all movement control. But we do give you the ability to jump while you're on that surface. So if you see a spike that's in your way while you're on that surface, you can just jump over it or collect a hat that might be in the direction or to get somewhere safe that you need to get to. But enough of the objects that we have. I'm going to pass it off to Paul to talk more about the various game modes that we have.
Thank you very much, guys. Now, our game is just full of features. On top of our single-player campaign, we have replays, a high-score table, achievements, multiplayer races, a level editor, and, in my opinion, the coolest of all, collectible hats. Now, how's that not cool? And we bundled them all together in just one giant bundle of awesomeness. But I know you want to hear all of them. I'm going to talk about our three massive heavy hitters: the single-player campaign, multiplayer races, and our level forge. Our single-player campaign is where you play as Goupé, and we play in 30 different sections in our one massive factory. Back in design, our level designers painstakingly designed each and every section to have an increasing difficulty ramp, and made sure to place every trap so you don't see the same combination more than once. So visually it's not boring, and also your muscle memory, you'll have the mechanics down, but you won't be able to constantly repeat the same tricks everywhere. And then our artist room, and they also made beautifully terrifying levels with every trap, background piece, and all the foreground pieces. As for our multiplayer races, they're very simple to grasp. We have two of them, and you play them locally with up to 3 of your buddies. And the first one is a section race where it goes from point A to point B. First player to reach the end wins. Very simple. And then the second one is a score-based race, which has a scoring system very similar to the one you'll see in our single player. And again, the player with the most points at the end wins. And our level forge is a very simple in-game level editor where we give you access to everything. You have the building blocks, the checkpoints, and every single trap, and you can manipulate them in any way you want. So say you have a new platform, you can grow it, shrink it, change how fast it moves, and change the starting position and the ending position. Then you can drop in real time, test it, pop back out, and once you're satisfied, you can save the level out, take the file, give it to a buddy, and he can play it on his own game. But I'm sure you'll see plenty of that in the game. So to talk about the art, pass it off to Ryan Newman.
So when we first decided to design our game, we basically wanted our game to be as fun as we could possibly. We wanted it to be as fun as we could possibly make it. So we didn't really limit our level designers in any way. They drew up these levels in a grid pattern, and as you can see at the bottom there, the green represents the non-stick that Dennis told you about earlier. So this produced a little bit of a problem artistically though, because as you can see, the green has varying different lengths. We couldn't just make one object and stretch it to fit because it would deform and it wouldn't look very good. So we had to come up with a way to fix this, and we decided on a tileable system. So basically we make a 1x1 unit of each piece, and we place them next to each other, and they would go together. But this also didn't really look that good. It was way too repetitive, and we had to come up with a way to fix that. So we made various different tile pieces, like an end piece and a drip piece and a straight piece, and we put them all together so they would look a little more varied when you're playing the game. Ended up looking a little bit more like this, and it's a lot more visually appealing. Once we had this system down, we implemented that with a lot of our different objects so that the game looked a whole lot better as a whole. After this, we decided to go ahead and lay down all the blocks for our levels. Our designers had already drawn up everything in a grid system, so it was really easy for us to go into Maya, place all the blocks, and it was no big deal. After we did that, we went ahead and laid all the traps out. Once we had the traps there, we really needed to test the game though, and make sure that it played the way our level designers intended it to. So inevitably there were traps that needed to be harder and ones that needed to be easier, and once we tweaked all these values and changed things up, we had a good ramp of difficulty that we were happy with. We went ahead and added the art for the foreground and the background elements, and really started to bring the game together. We really started to make the game feel more alive. We have a lot of moving stuff and flashing lights and stuff going on in the foreground and the background. You'll see that in a little bit. And it really made the art better, and the game really started to feel like a finished product. So now that I'm done talking about the art with you guys, I'm going to pass it off to Matt Cook, and he's going to talk to you guys about the tech.
Thank you, Ryan. My name is Matt Cook, and I'm here to talk to you about some of the tech in our game. In our game, the player is going to die a lot. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 times. In the later section, not unheard of. This is generally a bad thing, though. Well, how many other times have you died in a game and went, oh, that was awesome, I died? Or, oh, I'm going to go die again. We didn't want the player to feel bad about it. We didn't want him to be feeling this negative experience constantly. So we had a goal. How could we make dying a positive experience? It wasn't that easy. But looking at our inspiration Super Meat Boy, we found our answer. Replays of your attempt, and they look a little like this. Now, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a bunch of Goupés there running around and jumping into spikes. An artist played this level. But then again, they can't run against the time, so it's good. How would we do this, you ask? Simple. As you play the game, we record your input. If you press a button, you jump, you run, you stick, you face roll the keyboard, we record that. And until you complete the section or you die, we keep recording, and once either of those happens, usually death, we store that off for later. Then, when we play the replay, we'll spawn a bunch of Goupés, one for every attempt you have. And then we give each of them a string of input. And they run around through the levels futilely like a bunch of crazy Frenchmen trying to escape. It's a very low pass rate. We have the camera follow the one that eventually succeeds, so you get this nice little smooth panning around through the levels as it goes along. And it generally looks pretty awesome, especially it makes the parts where you did the worst look the best. But now, I'm going to pass it off to Lane Shapiro, who's going to talk to you a bit about the production side.
Now revealing commentary on our replays. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lane Shapiro. I am a developer, programmer for Goupé. And just before we get into gameplay, I'd like to talk to you all about some good and bad things that we experienced throughout the development cycle. You know, because it couldn't all be happy moments or sad moments. I mean, it's a project and we work through it. So to start off with the good, we made our design in the first month really small and really basic in efforts to really hone down on the core gameplay experience that we wanted. And we were able to accomplish this. So the next 4 months, as we developed the game, we were able to add features and new things that really specifically gave the player and the user the feeling that we wanted, whether it be getting those replays in there, getting the level editor in there, just all these different unique tools for the user to have fun. Also, it was really important for us to have daily improvement, whether that be in the code, the art, making the levels just a little bit harder. We made sure that we saw what improvement was going to our game, the work that we were putting into it, and it really helped us build confidence in each other and the team and the game. Lastly, it may not seem that special, but our game is hard. Now, as a developer, you're testing your game upwards of 500 times, believe it or not. And with a really simple game, you just kind of stroll through it and it ends up being a little boring. Not Goupé. I guarantee you we all definitely may have gotten a little frustrated, but it kept us having fun playing the game and testing, and it kept us wanting the user to have the same experiences that we were having every second of gameplay. Now, it couldn't all be absolute sunshine. We had some bit negative moments, especially with a team of all male students. There was a good amount of testosterone, as you can imagine. Voices were raised heavily, fingers were pointed. Fortunately, we are all here. We have all survived, very few battle wounds. And it's, I don't know, it's definitely made us closer, and building this game was really important. To combat that, we personally participated in a good amount of team lunch events, team outings. Basically any time we could have the team together where we're not focused on a deadline or something that needs to get done, and it really just helped everyone be a little more comfortable with each other and not raise their voices when not needed. Secondly, it was kind of an issue that we have our artists and our programmers who for the past 2 years have been learning a really, really direct skill set for what they need to bring to Final Project. So literally an artist will be saying, this normal is working, and our programmer will hear it as, oh, he just said normal, that means this one thing. But in reality, that same word means absolutely different things for an artist or a programmer. So with a little bit more patience, with a little bit better explanations, we were able to really get the points across to each other and be a little more productive. And lastly, due to the fact that we had such a nice basic core design, and as we're adding all these new features, our game kind of chugged and it couldn't really handle all this new stuff. I mean, we wanted 99 Goupés to be running around the screen, exploding, dying, who knows. So we had to re-optimize some of our systems, just put a new look into it, and once we did, the game got a lot more smooth. It's a lot of fun, and I can't wait till you guys see it. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it on to Tom, who's going to narrate the gameplay experience.
All right, everyone, are we ready to play Goupé? And we're going to start off with one of the features that we're the most proud of, our multiplayer experience. So we're going to have 4 of our guys playing the game at the same time on the same computer. We're going to have James Mead playing as our green Goupé, Dennis Norton playing as Pink K, our pink Goupé, Lane Shapiro playing as OJ, our orange Goupé, and lastly we have Wade Schwellen that will play as Blue Pig, the blue Goupé. So these are all the different applications that we use to support our game, the studio, the team. You guys saw it all before. So we're gonna go straight ahead into the game because that's really the more interesting part. Like Paul told you guys before, we can play multiplayer between 2 players, in which case we have a split screen, or 3 and 4 players, in which case we split the screen into 4 quarters, and each player gets one his own. So our guys will play in one of the 2 different multiplayer modes we have. Right now we're going to be playing score-based. That means that each checkpoint, our guys will try to race to the end, and each checkpoint, the guy who got it first will get score for it. So here we have our 4 guys moving around, and we're going to start by showing our basic mechanics. So on the top left, we have James, our green Goupé. You can show us how you can jump. Like we explained, Goupé can jump in different heights. You can jump higher, lower, depending on how hard you control the jump button. And then we have Goupé. Goupé, can you please show us how you can jump on walls? So like you can see, once you jump on a wall, you can jump again by pressing the A button, and you will again stick to the surface. Thank you very much, Goupé. Now we'll move to Pinkade. You can please show us how you can move on a wall while you're stuck to it. So while we're sticking to the wall at the bottom right, you can see Pinkade can scroll up and down, and the same thing can be done on the ceiling while you're sticking to it, moving left and right. And lastly, OJ, you can show us please how you can move in the air while you're jumping to give the player additional control to navigate himself against dangerous paths. Very good, guys. Thank you. So now we're going to go ahead and head to the first checkpoint that we'll Our first checkpoint won't give the players any score, but heading on from now, we're starting to race score. Our first trap that we guys saw was our acid pit. Falling into the pit will immediately kill Goupé and make him restart at the last checkpoint he was on. Winning a checkpoint makes all the other Goupé advance with the winner to the next checkpoint, now trying to race the current section. Was just able to get to the second section. Very nice. Now we can see our second type of trap are spikes. Spikes will again kill you on impact, but now we're starting to introduce a new feature, which is our close calls. Like you guys saw, we have those little confetti effects going around each of the Goupés when they get a close call. A close call can be acquired when you get very close to a death event, but manage to escape it. Getting a close call will give you some additional points, so you definitely want to try and get those. Well done, Goupé. Each section will advance through the game. Like we explained, we want to make it much more difficult to the player, but every time we introduce it to a new trap, we'll decrease the difficulty just a little bit so you can get acquainted with the new one. So you guys are having a little bit of a hard time there. Let's see who's able to get this checkpoint. Well done, OJ. So now we're moving to the next trap we have, our retracting spikes. Like Dennis explained, the retracting spikes are using lights to tell the player what status they're on. When they come out, they'll be red, that means deadly. Green is safe, and yellow means watch out, they're about to get you. And OJ just managed to score another checkpoint. Very well done. Okay, what's going with you there? The bottom, the top right. Now we're going to start mixing up some of our traps. We have our retracting spikes with acid pits, and soon we'll encounter some of the regular spikes as well. This brings in variety in what the player is required to do. Again, we want to try and make each level unique, so the player, even though he knows the mechanics and muscle memory can help, you still need to relearn each section, making it a little bit more like a puzzle. And now we have another one for the trap on moving platforms. Moving platforms are more of an obstacle since they're really there to help you advance through the wall, but you need to watch out because if you get between the moving platform and another obstacle, you will get squished and die. So we're going to go ahead and leave our multiplayer game right here. Thank you guys. Let's give them a big round of applause. So, we'll go into a forge. Since we don't have a lot of time, we're going to drop into a level that is already packaged with the game. So if you actually go ahead and download it for yourself, you will have this demo level. This is a level that was pre-built by one of our guys, and we're gonna have James go ahead and start adding some things in there. So we have our trap menu. We're gonna go ahead and set some traps in there. It's very important to place a start and an end checkpoint that will basically determine the objective for the player. So we're gonna start with spike and just lay them around to add a little bit more difficulty to our current level. We can also rotate them to give them one of the 4 cardinal directions, making more unique traps, making it more interesting. So now we're going to add another kind of trap. We'll put some of our retracting spikes. We have some complex traps that have some other mechanics going for them, such as the retracting spikes. So now James will go ahead and adjust the attributes of that spike he's about to lay down. We have an uptime, a downtime, and a little delay that will help you offset one spike from the other. And now it's a little bit more difficult than before, so let's go ahead, drop in, and test what we currently have. Like you guys saw, press up the button, a smooth transition, and James is already in the level he had right before his eyes, including all the latest edits that he currently made to it. So it seems now that it's about to get more difficult. Since you'll get at this point. So we're going to go back into editing and maybe add one more of our traps. Perhaps this time we'll add a blowing fan, which we haven't seen yet in the single player as it is an advanced obstacle, but we will see soon. So now we get the opportunity to see the blowing fans here in our single player, in the forge mode, sorry. Like you guys can see, when you cannot place an object, it will turn red, indicating to you that there's probably already a different object that was laid there or about to go into that path. So you should probably move what you want to place to a different location. Let's take one more second to place just one more trap, and then we're going to drop in and see if James is able to beat the forge level that he built himself. Another cool thing we have in our forge is the ability to brush tile over with certain traps and with our blocks. So once you have the block selected, just hold down the button, move your cursor around, and it will lay down the blocks in front of you exactly where you want them to be without you having to press for each and every block, making it much more easier for the player to build levels he wants. We're really proud of our Forge editor, since this is one of the features that we haven't originally designed for our game. We actually decided to add it in while we were already in production, which gave us a little bit of issues since we weren't prepared for it, but we really like the power product of what we had with it, and we're really proud of it, the fact that you can go build your own levels, use all the traps that we give in our game, and then actually hand the level to a friend, basically making our game an infinite experience where it never ends. You can create more and more and keep playing. So the level seems really difficult, so we're going to stop right here and move into the final feature we'll show you guys today. But right before we jump into the single player, we're going to go and change the little hat that Goupé wears, just because we can. So James already played the game before, and you already unlocked some of the hats. Hats are being unlocked by getting collected in the game, and soon we'll see how it can be done. We have over 40 hats to unlock in the game, which adds a lot of experience to it. So, we're going to select the hat that was already unlocked. We're going to super slow and drop straight into the single player experience. We really like our walls, the map select. Like you guys can see, each one of those is a level, and most of them already have a really nice effect going around it, but level 26 seems to be missing it. That is our target time. Target time is a high score time that you can try and beat. James already played, he got it from all the levels, so we'll drop it to 26, try to acquire it there, and then from there on out, play till the rest of the game. Another thing we're really proud in our game while it's loading is our menu system. We have a brand new menu that we created in the last month. Beforehand, we had a whole different menu that looks really good right now, and we're really proud of our audience that put a lot of effort into it. So we're going to start off on level 26. Like you guys can see, it's going to be a little more difficult than it was before. Here we're already combining a lot of our more advanced traps and obstacles. We have fans, acid pipes, acid pit, and all kind of things. Very well done, James. He was able to get a close call, which enabled him to get the first score. So James just collected a hat. Once you find a hat, you actually need to get to the end of the section before you're able to wear that hat. You actually need to unlock it. So we're going to go ahead and win it, and now we're going to go ahead and actually switch to a hat, which is a little bit of an homage to a game you might have seen before. They are the last trap we introduced to the player. They are much more difficult as opposed to the drop of acid. These move at a constant rate, but we try to put a lot of power in the area. Since we are introducing the player to new traps, we again try to scale down on the other traps we saw before, making it a little bit easier to get acquainted with this new kind of trap, and there are now to again bring the other traps in and make it a lot harder. So James picked up the hat, but then unfortunately he died, meaning that the hat will go back into the level and you will have to collect it back again if you want to be able to wear it. Maybe a little patience there. Like you guys can see, our artist did a great job on the environments, placing objects both in the foreground and the background, making it really interesting. And each section looks very different from the other one, making each one a unique environment that is really fun to play with and go back to. So we're just able to collect another hat, a little chef hat there. Some of our sections really require a lot of patience from the player to learn some of the patterns that the traps go at. So impatient players might want to take your time when playing this game. Getting very close to our final checkpoint, 30, and this is our final level. It's going to get much more difficult now. See what James can do. So if you guys notice on the top left of the screen, we have a little timer that runs there. This is our section timer. Every section has its own predetermined time that is fixed for that section. And every time you die, that section timer will get restarted when you spawn. Also, on the right side of the screen, if you die again, you'll be able to see, or if you bring it up like just did, we can see the death indicator. This shows us how many times James died per level, and also tells us the last trap to have killed him. Nice job, James.
Jake, super meaty boy. That's all
The score for each section gets calculated by adding the number of deaths you have and the overall time it took you to beat the section. So the last death, the time, the higher score you're going to get. Each section, it grabs the score from the previous one, adds the score of the current section, and at the end, you're going to get a high score that will be displayed in the high score table.
so close.
Do another go. James is promising us that this time we can definitely get it. Then we hear that before. Shout out to the sound guys. There are external guys to our team who gave us all the sounds for our game, our music, and the sound effects. And we think they really did a tremendous job on all of those. You guys